We're in today with the Intel Xeon W3690. This is an 1366 LJ CPU rated at 130 watts maximum TDP. It's got 3.4 gig on base clock, but today we're pushing it to maximum that I can manage to put 4000 megahertz on it. And it's got 6 cores and 12 threads. In order to see how the CPU is running properly, I paired it up with this RTX 3060ti that is from 2020. It's got 4864 shaders, 8 gig of VRAM, GDDR6 Samsung. It's got 1410 megahertz on the core clock and 1750 megahertz on the memory clock. There is a possibility in the future that you will end up with a computer, with a cheap computer like this. This is an HP Z400 that I'm using it to test older video cards that it requires Windows 10 and DirectX 11 at the same time in order to play some online games. And I think this is an ideal CPU and the platform because of that 6 cores and 12 threads. Regardless, I want to see today at maximum how the CPU is holding. I'm going to try to force the GPU to take maximum details and see how this computer, this old computer is holding, just in case you want to restore an old machine and you want to slap in an RTX 3060ti and you say, you know what, go for it. Because this video card, it's got only one 8-pin connector, and I think it makes it ideal for this computer that doesn't have a lot of wattage, you know. So let's jump in a couple of games and see how the system is holding, because this is going to be very interesting. I want to see how this game is working because it's the new kid on the block, seriously. And I want to see how it's holding with this CPU. Look at this. I managed to put VSync off. I maxed out everything on 1080p. And I want to see how the CPU and the GPU is working together. Seriously. It looks fantastic. It runs fantastic. But I need to see some averages and how it needs to work here. Because I can see the good numbers, I don't really care, seriously. You can actually see it's using 3.4 gig of VRAM from the video card and 90% load on the GPU. It's kind of fantastic performance overall. If it's reaching 100 FPS, I will say this is okay-ish. What was that? Oh! Unlocking the... Dude, the GPU is too much. Nope. Damn, Daniel. I realized something very bad. My HP has 400 watts power supply and I cannot push to the limit. So if I unlock the VSync, the video card will reach 200 and something watts, and plus the CPU and the mainboard 100 watts. It will be near maximum, and the power supply, it says 400 watts maximum, you know, peak, you know, but it's not 400 watts maximum peak. So in this case, you can, how should I say, understand why the shutdown. In this case, I put VSync on. This traces the GPU that is now 100 watts, and I think so on the CPU side you can actually see that it's working with 4000 megahertz and is doing a fantastic job. So maximum power on the CPU, but on the GPU side I need to lock it to 60 FPS. It's working really nice. So in this case I will take whatever I can, you know, because the power supply is not that great, you know. Oh, I did couple more. If we're jumping into Counter-Strike, we need to see some high-end performance. But first off, I want to see how it's running with the GPU, you know, because this is the most important thing ever. I don't want to put hundreds of wattage on the GPU, then I have a lot of problems. What I've done, I put 1080p and maximum details in Counter-Strike. I want to see how it's performing the GPU and the CPU at the same time. So the GPU is doing fantastic. It doesn't reach 50% load on the core and around 110 watts consumption. I would say that's adequate, you know. So 5.1 gig of VRAM, 60% load on the VRAM. I would say an overall performance is great, you know. So all the frequency on the core and the memory, it's at maximum. So the GPU is stabilized 80 FPS on average, yes. If I go on the CPU side, you can actually see those cores and those threads jumping all over, like in Scooter, jumping all over the world. Look at this. A couple of threads are reaching maximum load, 7.7 gig of system RAM being utilized. I mean, the CPU in per general is doing a fantastic job here. 80 FPS on average. I would say that's a decent performance considering this is an old CPU. I mean, 3690 is not that bad, you know, considering 6 cores and 12 threads. But if we're jumping into Farlight and see how the game is performing, I think you're gonna be surprised here, because there's a lot of performance from this computer, you know, from the CPU, but I placed everything on maximum details. So in this case, you can actually see that the GPU is being utilized, 4 gig of VRAM, 60-70% load on the GPU core, and yeah, 6.5 gig of system RAM. On the CPU side, there's a couple of threads that are being utilized, but not that heavy, you know. I will say in overall performance is great, but do mind that this has a nice performance on low details. It feels like performance mode, you know. But in this case, look at it. It's freaking interesting, you know, to see that on maximum details it barely holds over 100 FPS. You can see some spikes here and there, you know. You can actually see 11 minimals, and I don't like that, seriously. I would rather put VSync, put it on low details, and have the best experience ever. But sometimes I want to see the game on maximum details, and in this case I managed to see it and I like it. If we're jumping into Dota 2 with this system with maximum details 1080p, you can actually see that in some team fights you can get nearly 60 FPS and it's barely holding, seriously, 27 minimals. The GPU is not fully loaded, it's 1.8 gig of VRAM utilized, 40% load on the GPU. I want to see how much it's consuming. 41 watts. Okay, so the GPU is okay. in this occasion, the GPU is okay. You know, I will not complain that it's stressed in this game. This is how I want to play. Even if it's with the CPU, you can actually see that it's utilizing a couple of threads on maximum. Cores are not fully loaded, but it's using 8.5 gig of system RAM, so the system is doing fantastic in this case. 20 minimals, not okay, you know, because the moment you join a fight or you want to go somewhere, you'll end up having a lot of low minimals, and it's not okay. I will prefer to put VSync and put it on medium details and distress the whole thing, and I think I will be in much better scenario than this one, seriously. But if we're jumping in Crossout, I managed to put this PC on. Let me show you. I put everything on maximum details. Everything is on DLSS on auto and 100% DLSS sharpness. I want to see, because this is a preset, I want to see how the game is working with this computer, with this video card, with this CPU, seriously. There's a couple of threads that are being utilized at maximum. Overall, it's doing a fantastic job, so I can't complain, you know. 5.9 gig of system RAM being utilized. I'll say this is a decent performance. The average is good, the minimals is good, so overall it's doing fantastic. 85 minimals, not bad, seriously. Look at that, the quality, the FPS, 51 minimals. Overall performance with the CPU is great. You know, 61 degrees, considering the frequency on this, how many cores and how many threads this one has got. I would say this CPU really nice. It's really nice in this game. This is where the CPU gets in trouble. Look at that! A couple of threads and the whole fucking performance is done. Seriously. I always have problems with CPUs here. The threads. The moment the 1 or 2 threads are done, this is the most important one. I don't care about the GPU. Actually, I want to see the GPU how it's doing. Look at that. 70 watts, 4.2 gig of VRAM. It's okay, you know, but this is the most important thing ever. Maximum details, 1080p, no upscaling. Ooh. I like it. I like how the CPU is holding. Does it drop under 60? Yes! Look at it. On fast movement, apparently, the CPU, it's on... every single time I'm driving in GTA 5 with the CPU, yeah, I get problems from a couple of threads, you know. Threads are reaching maximum and it's just staying around 55 FPS. It's a good number, you know. I can adjust it from there, you know. I can resolve the problem on those minimals. Look at the minimal, 8. Yo, you don't need an RTX video card with the CPU in order to get low minimals. This is why I came here, you know, because usually and whenever I play GTA 5 with the CPU, I have problems there. So in this case, look at this, 40 FPS in the casino. But I'm maximum details. The GPU has no problem. You see, it's not loaded. Let's see. The GPU is not loaded. A couple of cores and threads are reaching maximum and it's dragging the whole experience down. So I don't care about this. Seriously, I don't care about how it's running with the CPU. I think lowering some resolution and V-syncing it will be ideal. But nah, 3066, it's very old. And I will say, you know what? it's okay, you know, considering the age of the CPU, I will take it, you know. Give me that stupid pink car. Do I like the system? Yes, I like this HP Z400 because it's like a tank for me. Every time I had problems with video card that were shorting, bad handling, every single time this computer managed to bypass every error that I encounter myself, you know. So it's this Z400, if you manage to restore one computer like this, is worth it. So this is what I wanted to show you. If you find an HP like this Z400. 2, if you have a proper mainboard, a normal mainboard, and you have this CPU, you can actually pair it up with this video card, and you can push it even further, because today I managed to reach that power supply limit. Aside from that, I really recommend both of them, the CPU and the GPU, you know, the CPU and the computer, you know, because majority of those old HP are very well done, you know. Those old HPs are really cheap nowadays, so if you want to restore them, they are everywhere, you know. So you have that opportunity if you want to put a video card inside and use that computer, you know, for beginning until you manage to put something proper together. And this option with the RTX 3060 Ti is kind of fantastic. The only thing is missing is those instructions that allows you to play Cyberpunk and new games. That's a very bad thing, you know, because this is an old CPU. But if you manage to find the games that doesn't require those instructions, I think you're in the good zone. I don't know what you think. I like it. But if you have any suggestion for this computer, for the CPU, leave a comment and I will see you very soon.